I want to ask, because so far I have only heard like other countries, so far they have been pro Ukraine. And I think
Mm.
India is the only country that is neutral. And then I want to ask two questions. One is, apart from
Mm.
India, who is neutral, is there any country that is also neutral or is pro Russia? That's the first question. Second question I want to ask is, how does the Russian people feel about this war? I mean, are they supporting Putin or are they against the war?
Russian people, majority of them are in support of Putin, but they are trying their very best through media and through appealing to the people that you go against Putin. He is doing things against humanity. He is going against the sovereignty and integrity of a country. So, and if you are showing all those videos, then emotional people will be affected. So, and there in every country, there are some people who are either funded by those foreign power which are quite powerful. So it's not that in one day they are there, suddenly they are, because the war has happened, they will be against Putin. They have been nurtured for long, so when the right time comes, then they will. So there are some people who are protesting, but the number is still quite low. Because if they remember, people have a very lack of memory when this it was broken, this USSR. So when USSR was broken, then American has promised many things, and which they promise, if it is not an agreement on paper, then they are never true to their promise. So they are not at all reliable. So Boris Yeltsin or someone was at that time the head of Russia. So the economy of Russia went so down that its inflation rate was 2,500 down it went. And the GDP of the people went down 40% in 8 years. And per capita income was $4 a day. And then when Putin came, he increased it I forgot, maybe 14 times or something, increase it. Increase, I think the GDP 14 times more than that what was. So it's per capita income of the people went quite low below Indians, and then now it has increased per capita income. From whatever, so it has increased 14 times. So if you are a sane person, how you will go against the person who has made your country again powerful? But there will be people, there are always people like that in every country who can be very easily purchased. So they are against him. Otherwise, just when he included, I think, Crimea in it, which was also part of Ukraine in 2014. 90% of the people were with him. So there is a possibility little bit decrease must have happened, because people become afraid also. If war will happen, then we will have to go through lots of suffering. But I think these people are, in that sense, used to getting difficult times. And you ask about how many countries are, what do you ask? The second thing?
The second thing is like, is there any other country who is either neutral or pro-Russia?
Few of the countries have abstained from in the voting. At present, I think there are 5 permanent members of United Nations Security Council, and 10 impermanent members. So among them, exactly, I don't remember, but 5 of the countries have abstained from the voting, in which include India, Pakistan, China, Bangladesh, UAE, and in other voting also there were 30 countries which didn't voted. So these are the countries which are at least not against Russia, so they didn't participate in the vote. European countries, most of these countries will be with America always, because it is all just based on economics and monetary and their desire to expand the land and all those things. Otherwise, there is no principle on which it is based. It is all just, they will talk about democracy, they will talk about human right, but only as long as it is in favor of them. The whole world is full of paid journalists and full of people who are just, they are like prostitutes. That's why there is a word prostitute. So they can be bought very easily, so you cannot rely on what they are saying. America is after all this, whatever has happened, and it is, they're doing it for a very long time. So all those people who are protesting and trying to show that they are nationalists there, these are all trained by the Americans for a long time. There was a man called Viktor Yanukovych. He was the president of Ukraine. And he was removed by the American conspiracy. And they had been trying it for 2011. Since 2011, they started it, and in 2014, they managed to do it. And in which they took the help of, once they were able to chart out this plan. Then they talked with the Google authorities of Google, some big people, I forget their name. And they said that we want to make it into a make it into a social media kind of revolution. So they planned everything, and in 2013 they brought it on ground. And for two countries they planned, one for Ukraine, another for Syria. So, and this is how they topple elected governments. They started labeling him as pro-Russia, and so, and then in 1 year they were able to manage it, and they had trained snipers so that they can create internal disturbance, and they were trained in US embassy in Ukraine. So these snipers, it was managed by CIA. So these snipers, they put those people who were not American, or they choose the local people from the area around Ukraine, and the protest was happening in some Maidan Square or some place, and inside that there were big buildings. These snipers were living inside it, and in one day they killed about 50 people, and then when the police came, they started killing police also. So, and this was projected as if this is a kind of people are against this man who is a pro-Russian, and people is going against against him. Then they put some American agent, and then later on this actor was brought. And he is claiming that he is fighting, he will stay there till the very end. But it is reported that he has already left and he is in Poland. And whatever is being shown that he is with his weapons, and some videos are being shown, it is all from his movies or from when he was acting as a comedian as a president in those comedy serials. Russians are also claiming that they are not doing this aerial bombing, which there are possibilities that whatever kind of destruction they are showing, it's all not from there. Media can show anything. Last time they funded about 100 journalists, and even to these snipers they paid from $2,000 to $5,000 each. So, and the whole thing is the head of all those things was a woman called her name was Victor Newland. She was from CIA, but these CIA people, they become part of the government, and she was Under Secretary of Political Affairs of USA. So she talked to the ambassador of USA that we want to topple the government. So So she asked that whether the European Union, they will be ready for it or not. He said that they will not be ready. And she said that fuck the European Union. You do it, you manage this. Because for our military interest, this is very fundamental, this Ukraine. And America has, in about 30 countries, its nuclear stations. And they now want to establish it in Ukraine also. So they have a great ability to sponsor all these media, to fund them, to give them money, so that they will be always telling one side of the story. And they are not at all concerned about humanitarian things. They are concerned about their own power. There also they are doing a lot of racial discrimination. If someone is from South Africa or from if they are brown skinned, then they are discriminating. They say that those who are white and with blonde hair, they are civilized people. So these are very racial people. They are not, whatever we think about West is not the reality. And they manage all those things by, in the name of nationalism, and they will say the government is corrupt. And they have been training people inside for a very long time how to go against your government, or how to. This time they have been trained to go against the Russians. So. And they have been given these kind of Stranger missile, I think its name, and the Javelin missile and all those things. They have been trained for a long time how to use it, how to. So. I had one of the American friend who he wrote, because I sent him one of whatever I had written on coup about America. So he replied, he wrote something. They try to talk in poetry and then they try to make it as if they are very aesthetic. So he said that he wrote something about forgiving, that I don't know why he wrote all those things, whom to forgive. Because I had written things against America. Then I thought that the only thing I can write is that I said, then let us forgive Putin. Then after some time he wrote back that he thought that he is very smart or whatever. Now his bluff has been caught, and things like that I've forgotten. But then I wrote him back that you are an American, so there's no need that you cannot see things as it is. At least Putin is better than Biden. So far he has not replied, but maybe he went to sleep. Simple thing is that this is my house. You enter into my house and you try to dislodge me and you try to put someone else in the house. Who will accept it? America is sitting now 9,000 kilometers away from it. Their nuclear stations are in 30 places in European Union, European countries. So they are always fighting the battle away from their place. They will never fight any battle in their own backyard. So now if you are put fire near my house, I will how anyone will accept it. You can say that it is I have put beyond the boundary of your wall, but it will enter inside quickly. They have been sanctioning for a long time Putin. But who has given you the authority that you are the boss of the whole world? You will decide about everything. The dollar, the rate of ruble was about 80. Ruble was equivalent to $1. Now it has already gone beyond 100 something. First of all, I think this is the most unfair thing. That why should dollar's rate will be more than any other currency? If this is an equal world, you are talking about humanity. Then the rate should be of all the countries same. Why, as being an Indian, if I have to buy something American, I have to pay 70, 80 times more? No one is asking this question. Who are you that you fix the rate? Why should this world be unipolar? So it has to be made into multipolar world where everyone should have the equal power, all the countries. Inside any country, you cannot interfere. America goes on doing this kind of bloody third-rate things. And the Indian third-rate journalists who are totally sold, they will talk that we have to move. We have no other choice other than to move towards liberal democracy. What is liberal democracy? What is liberal about it? And where is democracy there? There is no democracy at all. There is no liberal democracy. These are just sweet sounding words. Whenever they have to interfere in other countries' affairs, then they forget democracy and all these words. Then dictatorship is their way.
Excellent, Swami, whatever you say.
You should accept when it is not excellent also. Why am I an entertainer or what? Am I the president of Ukraine that I will be doing comedy?
No, Swami.
When it has to come, it is not. Before also it was not me. Now also it is not me. Whatever existence want to express through me is expressed. I also don't know when it will be good. But now once I started, then whatever has to be said through me is said. Now those people who talked about liberal democracy, these people are benefited by America. They get dollars from there to say all those things. So what is the value of these people when you are already being benefited by it? Then you will be favorable to them. You will be speaking their language. But you are not neutral. You are seeing what Russia has done to this country. But Russia was always warning, don't do. They did it intentionally. So that these things will happen, then they can sanction Russia more. They can have their nuclear installation in Ukraine, and then the NATO force will be inside it. And then they can destroy the whole country. This is how they go on destroying so many countries. And you are talking about liberal democracy. Even in India, they have their agents in the name of nationalism, in other names. They will try to dislodge Modi. They have been always trying. They are always trying. Their effort is always on. Even yesterday, there were protests happening in Delhi. These are all sponsored by opposition parties, especially Congress, because they know they can never defeat Modi. Fair voting in a democratic, they talk about democracy and they do everything which is anti-democratic. These people who are, you talk about nationalism, you talk about love of the country, and you do everything against your own country. You do things against a government which has been chosen by people, majority of the people. Now in Uttar Pradesh, even now I am not certain whether Yogi is going to come or not, because there are the other side of the story, which is they are also very confident that Yogi is going. There are people who are suggesting now you go to Nepal. Nepal is very near. So one of this party, which is only full of criminals, they give tickets only to criminals. Everyone, any sane person accepts that law and order, Yogi has just completely changed it. Women are so secure now. But in the name of your caste or in the name of your religion, if you vote against him, then you should be doomed. You deserve hell. You don't deserve any good life. Now one of the very big criminal, he is he is a nephew of the man who was once Vice President of India. And this Vice President also, he remained Vice President, he held all the important posts, and once he came, his terms was over, then he said that in India, Muslims are in danger. These people, they are always like that. You can give them anything, but they will have only complaints. So this man, this criminal, was just a very dreaded, most dreaded criminal possible. Finally, Yogi managed to keep him in the jail inside. And he used to think he was a lion. But when he was brought down, brought from Punjab, the Congress people, they were trying to put him safe in Punjab so that he can be kept there, and then later on they can use him for their own purpose. So, but finally in Supreme Court it was decided that he has to be transferred to Uttar Pradesh. And on the whole way he didn't eat anything, he didn't drink anything. He was so afraid that now he will be killed. When you kill hundreds of people, then you think you are being a lion. And in reality is just you are a complete coward. Only because you have sophisticated weapons and then you have a gang. These people who are just headless and heartless. What kind of courage is needed in this kind of thing? So now his son is, because the party gave him the ticket, but he then, maybe out of fear, he then said that my son will stand for it. And his son was giving a speech just few days back that because the ex-chief minister, his name is Akhilesh, someone calls him Akal-less. That means without any intelligence. So, saying that I have already talked with Akhilesh Bhaiya. Bhaiya means brother. That once our government will come, then for 6 months, no transfer post will be allowed. No transfer will be allowed. And then we will teach all these police people lesson. For 6 months, we will torture them. And then only the transfer will happen. So a person who is blatantly saying these things, his government has not come. Then today I saw that some of one of the women candidate of some party was being molested by the goons of the Samajwadi party, which was before in power. They call themselves Samajwadi, which means socialist, but they are just only Parivarwadi. They are only concerned about their own family. About, I think someone has calculated, they had about 50 people from their party who were holding some kind of post in the party. Anyone, whether he had even a little bit of capability or not, was given big posts. And they were using all whatever the government money was, their fund was, whatever would come from central government for their own pleasure. And yesterday I was hearing, this is, even if you don't hear, you can understand the way journalists are. What my master says about many of the people, janam janam ka bhoka pyasa. That means for many, many lives they have been starving and they are hungry and they are thirsty. So once power comes, then they are like wolves. So he said that when this man Akhilesh was the chief minister in UP, then these journalists will go to these mafia dons. They will be well fed. They will be given all kind of facilities, any kind which you can imagine. And then they will also brag on later on that the first time we had the opportunity to shoot, to use all those weapons. They will have all kind of drink, they will go for hunting. So it shows these are also criminals. They also want all those things, but any person who can be bought by money, if you have a rate, then someone is going to use you. And you will be doing things which is against humanity, which is against people, and which will be against you also. Because if you sow the seeds of destruction, you will also be destroyed. Power should not be given to those who are starving, hungry and thirsty for many lives.